Okay, Onion, I just sent you an invite as co-host, so I think you need to click that link. I'm not sure, but I do have you as a speaker.
Okie dokie. Hello. Oh yeah, real quick, I just want to mention. So I think this is like you and me's first spaces. My Android phone is like sometimes really laggy. So if it gets really laggy, I might dip out of the call. Sometimes it's like delayed, but it should be fine. But yeah, just let me know if it's bad, and then maybe I'll hop on my computer or something if it's bad. But yeah, just a
Oh,
warning.
yeah, you sound pretty good right now. I don't hear any lag or anything like that right now.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So yeah, I think are we talking about the all of our experience with the Bitcoin maximalists.
Yeah, so for people who are just joining us, Kaspa Onion and I have been in conversations, audio and through text, in multiple places, in DMs, group DMs, people's threads, on each other's threads, just everywhere. And there's so much content and so much stuff that we've been talking about that we just thought, okay, let's make a space. Let's have people hear some of the stuff that we're saying because some people might find this valuable. So we're just gonna just say whatever we want to say without any specific topic because there's just random stuff that we're constantly talking about.
Exactly. So yeah, what I'm trying to think. I think a good topic, if this is all right with you, is maybe like why the backlash? Why I this is kind of I think what we were just talking about. Like, why do you think we're getting so much backlash from the the Bitcoiners?
Yeah, so this brings up a little bit of history, right? So last year, I don't remember witnessing debates, the war zone, people being upset with each other, people blocking each other for being Bitcoin or Caspa people. It just seemed that people were enthusiastic about their coin and that was it. And this year, we have seen people being very vocal and saying we need to have debates. Who has the better coin? Oh, I'm blocking you. You have a K. Oh, you're with Caspa. You're here spamming. You must have an agenda. Oh, you're here with your friends and they're all liking your post and it has Caspa in the name. You guys are all a community. None of you think for yourselves. You're all brainwashed and you're not individuals. You're a community. So let's just block you all. And that seems to be the new mentality when it didn't used to be that way. And I think part of that is that Cass was becoming more popular, and you can't really become popular unless you are attacked and receive some hate and dislike in certain communities. And that's what we're facing today. And it's a sign of popularity. It's a sign of growth. But it's also a little scary, right? You go on social media and you have to put on some armor just to have normal conversations with people who see you as the problem just for having enthusiasm for something they don't invest in.
Yeah, I think have you noticed, do you think I guess I'm curious, at what point do you think this stops? Like, at what point, like, I feel like it's getting worse and worse every day, but do you think there's a point where it gets better?
I mean, can you think of a time when people gave up being hateful on anything?
That's just true. Bitcoin maximalists, I think that's like what they have like a sense of pride too with like they enjoy it. They enjoy the toxicity in a way. Because I think I even see it between the Bitcoin core and the Bitcoin knots debates. Like, those get heated. And so, like, they have conflict within their own ecosystem, you know?
Well, I mean, there's conflict even within the Caspa community. I have my fair share of people I've blocked that are in the Caspa community. And it's because I don't see it as a community. I see people as individual people, right? I don't see us as all being a group. And I use this analogy with people. I say, if everyone who has a US dollar speaks to someone else who has a US dollar. Does that make you a community of USD holders? No, it just makes you people who have that as your money. So I don't think of Caspa as being a community. I think of it as we are people who have Caspa.
Well, oh, yeah,
Right?
exactly, exactly. Yeah, it shouldn't be this tribalism that's like we're just trying to use money. It's just money, you know? Like why is there
Well, it's more than just money. It's a network. It's an ecosystem. It's a messaging service. It's going to be a drone network, right? There's smart contracts coming. So it's more than money. It's something so big that it's challenging the status quo. It's challenging Solana and Ethereum, especially after August 31st when smart contracts come out. So it's more than money, but they want to make it seem like we must pigeonhole ourselves. And that's what we're facing is this weird this weird vibe on social media. It's so strange. I'm not used to it.
it's the
Here it
same
was
same.
cool.
Yeah, absolutely nuts.
And so, Onion, I believe you've been in the Caspa space now for what, 2 or 3 months? 4 months? How long has it been?
I think 3 months. Within 3 months, I believe. Whenever that Twitter Spaces was with the duffel bags,
Oh my gosh, the duffel bags of cash.
the Visa Maxi.
Oh my goodness. If you guys didn't hear that, it was a whole space between Bitcoiners and Caspians, and the Bitcoiners labeled the show There's No Second Best. And then they proceeded to be really condescending and rude to a lot of the Caspa people. And then at one point, when it was asked of them, would you use Caspa at a coffee shop if it would be quick and fast? And they said, why? We can use cash. And then the question was brought up, well, why would we want to use duffel bags of cash to go shopping at a coffee shop? And so memes were made, and people from the Bitcoin community were offended by it and sensitive to it. And they started blocking people and saying that we, had the wrong way of going about bringing up our opposition. And from that point on, it seemed to be people saying, let's have a debate rather than let's have a conversation. When Caspa Silver and Raja did their conversation, it was advertised as a debate, but Silver was very clear when he said, look, I'm not coming in here to make it seem like a debate. I want to have a conversation. He ended up really elevating that conversation, making it about facts, logic, but also providing counterpoints, which I thought was really respectful and really beautiful. But from that point, it continued to evolve, not in that space, but in future spaces where whenever people wanted to offer to have that kind of similar discussion with someone else who's equally knowledgeable about Bitcoin and Caspa, the reaction, instead of it being, sure, let's get two smart people to have a conversation like Roger and Caspa Silver did, instead, the reaction has been, we're blocking you. How dare you bring up Caspa in this space? How dare you show up with your green logos and your Caspa Ks? You're blocked, you're blocked, you're blocked. Here you are again, you're blocked. And it just got to a point where a lot of the people in the Caspa community, if you want to call them community, a group, a space, a family, people who hold Caspa, whatever you want to call Caspians, they started to feel in a majority that we're being attacked for liking something and having so much enthusiasm about it that we want to display our enthusiasm on our profile pictures, on our display names, on our bios, in our tweets, in our replies, on our cover photos. And it became overkill. So the Bitcoin crowd sees that and they get intimidated because they don't have that similar new energy that Caspa's bringing. The Caspa majority are excited, and there's an excitement in the air about everything new that's being brought to the table. And Bitcoin doesn't have as much new energy, right? It's got that old money energy. And so it's just really different. And those energies are clashing.
Damn. What you just said was beautiful. Spot on, man. That was I like what you said. I actually never noticed this myself, how like Rajat and Caspa Silver, they actually were good. Like you said, they died it down from a debate to an actual conversation, and then after that, you're absolutely right. It's like Bitcoiners saw that and like they don't want a conversation. Like,
No, you know.
so I'm just curious. Like, I guess it's just like Bitcoiners had one conversation with Caspa, and then after that, it's just been block, 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 block. Like, we're not even allowed to have another debate, you know?
Yeah, which is why a lot of us were really hopeful when we heard that Vlad wanted to talk with Jonathan and invited him on his space. And that's why over 20,000 people were listening live during that 7-hour interview because people were really wanting to see a CASPA expert take on someone who has influence. And in that situation, Vlad was really respectful and really let Jonathan answer the questions. And he made it so comfortable and easy to talk that it was not argumentative. It was not angry. And I think we needed that. It was calm and peaceful. But when you and I have recently gone into other spaces that are Bitcoin majority, they instantly view you and I and others as being spammers, even when we're just observers and we're not speaking and we're just existing in a space.
Yeah.
They see us as having an agenda. We're illegal aliens, we're invaders, we're in their space, we're in their bubble, and they're scared that we'll speak up and talk about CASPA, even if we don't say anything.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's kind of sad, you know? We're just looking to have a conversation.
I've tried bringing up topics that were not CASPA related, actually speaking about things that they brought up, and they would not even reply to me. It was almost as if me existing and being an investor of Caspa made me off limits to any real authentic connection. And it wasn't like that last year. Last year, I had conversations with so many different people with different investments. And this year, it seems as if people are on trial that if they have Caspa, then they're doing a pre-crime by declaring their enthusiasm for this coin and entering a space where other people don't share the same enthusiasm.
So why is this year different then? Because if it used to be peaceful, because Caspa was at a higher price back then and it was peaceful.
Yeah.
Now it's at a lower price and Bitcoiners are definitely more hostile, right?
Sometimes, I mean, there are some kinder
Yeah,
Bitcoiners. I don't think they're all the same. I can't paint them with the same brush, but
yeah.
there is a lot more hostility. And I think that it's because Caspa is being more adopted. The price is lower, but the hype is higher because people realize what they're holding. And as you get more people who are enthusiastic about Caspa, they're more vocal, they're more opinionated. They tell their friends tell their friends, and before you know it, you have a hive mentality. And they get so excited about this because of all the new energy they're feeling, the buzz, the electricity, the, oh my gosh, I just found this incredible currency network that's L1, it's decentralized, fair launch. And of course, they say all the words that Bitcoin says, oh, you're just saying the buzzwords.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
those things they call buzzwords are the things that actually excite the Caspa majority, and it makes people want to talk, and that excitement is contagious. And Bitcoiners view that contagious energy as kryptonite. They feel it weakens them. They want to put a stop to it. So they need to block it, ban it, stop it cold in its tracks before it starts. And it's so strange, right?
Yeah.
Because Bitcoin was new at one point and people talked about it and it was great. But now, for some reason, there's not the sense of acceptance of this new technology that is also decentralized and is new technology that helps people have sovereignty and push back against the establishment. I mean, it's hard money for the people, but us being excited about that isn't allowed because it's not Bitcoin. Like, what's that?
I like what you just said there because its sovereignty. I view Caspa literally as a human right. Like Ripple, I mean, I don't think Ripple's not a human right. I like all these altcoins. I mean, I don't want to rag on everyone's project, but there was a time where Bitcoin was like on a political level, politicians wanted to like ban it, or there was talk of this country banning Bitcoin, and I look at that as like that's scary. Like that's it's always scary when politicians like want to ban Bitcoin or something weird like that, right? And I feel like if someone were to try to ban Caspa, it's like it's like a human right. Like I don't care if they ban Solana. I don't care if they ban something like but Caspa, like that's like people need this. Like this is beyond I guess what I'm trying to articulate here is because of that, I also dislike how quickly we're dismissed because we get lost in this crypto. There's 2,000, 20,000 cryptocurrencies. We're just another shit coin, you know? But like I just think it's really dangerous to dismiss a project because from our perspective, like I genuinely believe Casp is a human right, the same way Bitcoin is, and I don't think we should be ragging on people's preference on sovereignty, you know?
So it's interesting. You asked the question about blocking or banning Bitcoin, Caspa, any kind of crypto. My response is, can you block a torrent? No, because it's peer to peer. You're going to have people who will always find a way around it. And Caspa is peer to peer currency. It was designed to be peer to peer, just like a torrent, except we have to think bigger because banks don't like torrents. Visa doesn't like torrents. So they want a piece of the action. They want a piece of the network. They want to have that experience of speed. And that's why we have talks of things like Tangent Pay so that people can one day use Tangent and spend their crypto anywhere where Visa is accepted. And that is coming soon to Europe before it comes to the US. And that is so that people can have peer to peer, but also have the convenience shopping at any retail place where people would want to go shopping. And whether or not that's a human right, I don't know, because then it gets into this gray area of, do felons
Mm,
deserve to have access to a computer and have access to this if they use their money to buy
yeah.
XZ terrorist bomb? I mean, I don't know how sanctions work, but I realize that that is one of the fears of governments wanting control of people is the ability to sanction, the ability to stop people from using it. I don't know if I'm in the right position to say whether or not it's a human right, but I do see it as being a privilege that most of us should be able to use and it be a form of money that we have some say in what we do, especially if we are law abiding citizens of our country where we live. And we should be able to spend money and use money and pick which money we use, whether that's trading beads, trading pigs, trading paper, trading technology, trading energy, whatever you want to call it. We should be able to do that as we please. That's how I view it.
Hell yeah, yeah, exactly that. What you just said about we should be able to pick the money we want. And in Jonathan's last interview with the turtle and all that, he literally mentioned how other cultures they when they find a new culture, they actually like critique the money. They think it's weird. Like if you're using beads and we're using gold, you're weird because you're not using gold. Like, and it kind of makes sense. But and I feel like maybe that's what Bitcoin and Kaspa is. There's this group of people who like Bitcoin, and then there's Kaspa. We're like two different societies that have two different versions of what we consider sound money. And maybe I mean, we see Jonathan has pointed out this trend as this is as early as human nature, you know?
I don't know if you're familiar with Leonardo Fibonacci, but in his early days when he lived in Italy and the surrounding countries, India, stuff like that over there, he moved from location to location, so he was not always in one spot because he was a merchant. And during those times, the number zero did not exist yet. And the way that he made money was to go from city to city. He would buy products from one city, travel to the next city, do a markup, make money off of it, go to the next city and sell something he got from one of the cities previous to that. And he would do this for months at a time. So he would visit 20, 30 cities, and each one of them had their own set of financial currencies, and the zero didn't exist. And so the story goes that he learned about the number zero from women who were doing basket weaving, and they needed to have a placeholder for where some of the weaving would go. And he thought, oh, that'd be a good way to change how we calculate money from this city to this city so that it would be more equal. And he ended up also learning about some of this apparently from some of the Sumerians that he came in contact with, and so it affected how money changed hands from city to city and then country to country based on just how different cities would trade goods and barter. And this was a variety of different trading. It wasn't always products. Sometimes he was trading his services of just delivering the goods somewhere, or it would be trading things people would do. So even I kind of think about it like the monkey ninja, where you have other people do things and then you make a commission off of what other people do for each other because you were the referral for them. So he would have all these different ways of making that money. And today that applies because we look at things like Caspa, we're trading energy, the proof that work was done. We're trading technology. So when people say, oh, well, it's not gold, you can't wear it. Yeah, but is technology not the most valuable thing in the world today?
Yeah.
Is energy not the thing that people go to war over? Is it not the most important thing? If it is, then you need a way to prove that work was done for that thing. And that's why I prefer proof of work over proof of stake, right? And it is an exchange of that. But the money system is so different now compared to Fibonacci because what we look at now is the international world looking at crypto, and everyone's trying to avoid one thing: inflation.
Hmm.
People are trying to have some kind of even playing field, and that it's a whole different world of trading. And you have different crypto saying, oh, well, we have these gas fees. We have these other fees for this exchange or for this retail. We have Visa and their transfer, their transaction fees. All these other fees are playing out just like they did back then, except what we're trying to do today is have more equality while still letting people have free will, right? There's such a balancing act when it comes to giving people more sovereignty and more choice over their money while still creating a free market. And that's what crypto does. That's what Caspa does. I think it makes it as equal as it can be because it was fairly launched and because these VCs didn't get their allocations and it wasn't pre-decided who gets the most.
Damn. I think that's beautiful what you just said. That's yeah, I think that's spot on. I think that's spot on. We're all fighting against inflation here. And then how do we do it? That's what the past 2,000 years has been about. I'm just curious, how did you learn about the Fibonacci stuff? That's cool.
So I'm a pretty big fan of number theory, game theory, quantum stuff, all that stuff. I'm not the greatest at it, but I love to research it. I love to look into it. And pretty much every topic that exists, I'm interested in it. So there came a point where I started to question the number zero. Where did zero come from? What culture did it come from? And I ended up learning that it came from many different cultures at many different times, and many of those cultures didn't know about each other. And so I learned about Fibonacci and his understanding of zero. I learned about the Sumerians, their understanding of zero. But what I really found interesting is that in Mexico, with the Mayans, the Aztecs, they had a god. I can't even pronounce the name of the god. It starts with a Q. It's like Quetzes. I can't say it. I can't say the name. It's a long name. Starts with a Q, ends with an L. That god was considered the god of zero, and it was a death god. And if it came in contact with you, you'd be afraid for your life, and there'd be a lot of bloodletting and sacrifices and things like that. And they viewed that god as being the placeholder for life itself, and it led to them understanding the number zero as God that ended up becoming a part of how they counted, and it had something to do with how they counted their souls and stuff like that. It was a very different way of looking at it that was not currency, but it was just another way of understanding numbers. So I found studying numbers interesting.
Damn.
And yeah, it's everywhere, right? People look at numbers everywhere. And if you look even comparing Asian math and American math,
Yeah.
there's discrepancies. People disagree which one is better, PEMDAS or BOMDAS, right? So how do you really do the math equation? Do you really put the brackets in the front or the parentheses in the front? Are the order of operations the same from country to country? No, they're not.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the numbers are different from country to country. Physics is strange. So even the greatest physician, physics and mathematicians and astroscientists, all of them have their own understanding of what they learned about math and science and numbers. But I could tell you, if aliens came here to Earth, they would have their own physics and their own set of numbers.
Whoa. I don't even know how to respond to that. This is like above my pay grade, but I find that so fascinating. The only thing I can think about is just it makes sense, I guess. I guess, yeah. Is that why different? I guess different cultures just have different like versions of money and stuff. I guess everything's just
Yeah. Same thing with language. If you look at language, the lettering systems, the alphabets, the numbers, they're all different. And some cultures actually put letters for numbers. So 666 in one language also means WWW.
oh shit.
Yeah.
Damn, that's some cool stuff. So how has this helped you? I guess understand Caspa in a way. Do you see like any patterns playing out with studying numbers and also like maybe Caspa?
Yeah, but here's the problem. Even if you can predict the trends, you still have to fight against the fact that there's people betting against Caspa and want it to fail so they can make money off of it with their futures, their leverages, their, shorting it, and various exchanges doing the dark side of crypto. And so even if you can predict accurately what's really happening on the chart, there are things always going to be happening in the back end,
Mm,
various nefarious reasons that we can't see. And that's part of the underbelly. And a lot of that you can't predict unless you're either one of those insiders or you're an exchange who's holding people's money and you decide to put a paywall up and start to manipulate the price. And that's unfortunately what we've been seeing And I don't have any proof that Mexi is doing this, but there has been a lot of speculation that they are behind a lot of it, which is why people are saying this is just rumor. I'm not saying this is fact, but just as a rumor, people are saying that wallet number two for Caspa is the true hope of being able to stop some of that manipulation that's being going on with Mexi, which is the number one wallet. However, I would almost argue what's to stop wallet number two from doing exactly what wallet number one is doing.
Oh,
So I don't know.
I actually don't know a whole lot about Mexi and stuff. When I first joined Caspa Twitter, I saw a lot of it in my timeline when the price was like 6 cents, 7 cents maybe. A lot of people were posting. How do they suppress the price? Do they trade against like their customers? How do they suppress the price for all of us, you know?
Yeah, I have to be really careful here because I don't want them to sue me for defamation
Uh,
because I don't have facts on that.
no.
All I can tell you is what the rumors are and what the circumstantial evidence is and what I have seen with my own eyes. And what I have seen is that every time Caspa seems to go up by half a cent, every time it reaches 0.05 and there's a 5 at the end, right? Every time that happens, or 0.005, anytime there's a 5, anytime there's a 0,
Really?
suddenly there are millions and millions of dollars that just suddenly show up on Mexi's paywall that you have to get through to get the price to go back up. So it seems as if the price is being suppressed,
Whoa.
but I can prove it. But what my understanding is, it's called wash trading and it's not regulated in every country. So some countries get away with it more than others. And some people put the blame on Mexi. In fact, I've seen one X account that's completely devoted to exposing this every single day. But I can't say that it's completely true or factual because I'm just not in a position to do that.
Damn, so are they doing that and are they doing like what's the reason like if theoretically if they were to do this, is it so they can accumulate more and like they have a bag on their own or something?
Well, they do have their own bag. They're the number one wallet on Caspa. But do you notice that they constantly have, what do you call it? They create an inability to withdraw your money every time the price goes up. Suddenly you can't withdraw your money. And this happens regularly. They'll say, oh, it's under maintenance.
I've seen people post about that. I'm curious, like, how do people, yeah, like, if they're really doing all this, I see people post all the time, like, they can't withdraw or they're blocking the withdrawals again every time the price is up. Like,
Mm.
are people stuck with that exchange? Like, how come they still keep using that exchange if they're, because
I
I
think it's
saw that.
convenient.
Oh, sorry, what?
I mean, Mexi has been around for a while for Caspa. In fact, my understanding is that they were the first or one of the first major exchanges to accept Caspa. So a lot of people, especially in Europe where Caspa is accepted on Mexi, people see it as convenient. And a lot of people who don't understand, not your keys, not your money, they leave their money on the exchange, trusting that Mexi's just going to hold it for them until they're ready to withdraw it. So they leave their money on the exchange, which gives Mexi technically
Mm.
access to, not necessarily permission to use, but access to do what they want with. And theoretically, they could use that money to do wash trading. I'm not saying they're doing that, but it could be done. And that is what some people are saying is being done. But the counter argument, to be fair, is that it's not happening and that it's just people selling because they want to get rid of Caspa. That's the other argument to it, is that no, it's not an exchange doing it. It's legitimate. It's people coincidentally getting rid of their funds at exactly this price on the dot every single time.
Well, that's messed up, but I guess that's part of the market, I guess.
Yeah. What's your impression of all this? You've been in Caspa now for 3 months, and you've walked into it from day one, seeing it as a battleground, whereas I've seen it being kumbaya, and now it's become a battleground. What's your impression of every day you're seeing what you see? What is it like for you?
Oh man, that's a good question. Good question. So I literally just made a Twitter account because I was just like, I learned about Caspa and I've watched YouTube videos. I used AI to understand Bitcoin a while. Like when I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos to understand Bitcoin, but then once AI came out, I liked using it just to kick the tires, figure out. Anyway, I ended up doing the same thing for Caspa, and then I kind of realized like, what the hell? Like it told me a lot of crazy stuff. So I made my Twitter account and I was like, I have to share this with the world. Like I felt like I rediscovered Bitcoin. Like I was so excited because I felt like I had like rediscovered Bitcoin again. And then I saw that Twitter Spaces. I just figured I'd join, and I noticed that during the Twitter Spaces, like, or maybe before, I don't know how to put it. I guess I just wanted to share my perspective as a Bitcoin maximalist. Like, I'm new to this Caspa thing, and for some reason, I feel like I have a use case for it. And then just literally me just expressing my opinion on, hey, I like Bitcoin. I've been using Bitcoin. And at the time, I only had a 10% allocation to Caspa. I barely was even in Caspa. I just had a little bit because it's like the equivalent of like a lightning channel. So I literally was just sharing like a little question like, hey, like I got some concerns with Bitcoin, not looking to fight, just curious. And that whole space is just literally caught like that, and plus everyone else that was on there, just the way the call went, just my experience, I realized it was like, holy shit, this is like I guess I was expecting a dialogue and I didn't get that. Day one, I didn't get that. And it turned more into like a debate. And then after I don't know. I don't know how to put it. I feel like Bitcoin has become a religion. And when I got in on Bitcoin, it didn't feel like that. I don't think it was a religion. I mean, maybe I was in the wrong Bitcoin community, but I don't know. And I guess I actually, this is gonna sound weird. I never noticed that Bitcoin was a religion until I learned about Caspa in a way. So, and I don't know why that is. Maybe Caspa helped me like see it or something. I don't know. But I've never thought Bitcoin was a
That's the
religion.
thing, though.
Oh yeah,
Caspa's a religion too. If you think about it,
we are.
Caspa. Well, here's the thing, though. Here's what it's not just me saying it to say it. There's actually some science behind it.
Really?
Did you know that a new religion is called a cult? And cult only became a negative connotation later, but there's actually philosophers who have dedicated 8 different tenets of what creates a religion. And everything about Caspa actually qualifies as one of those 8 tenets. And so does Bitcoin for that matter. So it could technically be argued that both of them could qualify as a religion. Here's why.
Okay.
So some religions, they say, it involves some sort of sacredness, right? But it doesn't necessarily have to apply worship. You can have a religion that has something that you hold dear, you could say. What do people hold dear in Caspa? The value of their money. What do people do to get more people to follow that religion? They recruit, they talk, they engage,
Cool.
they discuss. That's part of what makes it, right? There's all these different tenets. Those were just 2 of them. But if you want to look it up, you can look up the 8 tentacles of religion, and you can see how something about Caspa would apply to all of them. So, for instance, prayer or Caspa, people pray that the price goes up. People pray that the price goes down. Right? Let the price go down, please, so I can do this. There's also a sense of reward. Oh, I just received my wish. The price just went up. Oh, I'm so happy. There's also a sense of ritual. People store, people trade, people sell, people buy. There's a whole ritual that goes with it.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then there's the whole visuals, right? We may not have an altar, but we have memes. right?
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot, and Bitcoin does too. And when I brought this up last year, I was told to shut up because if I bring up the fact that it's a little bit of a religion, then people might be off put and not want to invest because they'll get Caspa confused with something political or religious. I
Um,
just thought that was weird because philosophers would easily see this.
yeah. Wow. That's crazy. That makes perfect sense. I pulled up the 8 elements of religion and yeah, I think you're spot on. I could totally see Bitcoin. I've seen there's like this parable or something. I don't know what it is, but like apparently people used to like worship like some golden calf or something. And someone made a meme on Twitter and they replaced the golden calf with all like with the Bitcoin logo, Ethereum logo, just like cryptocurrencies and
Yeah,
it really seems kind of true. Like we
yeah,
yeah.
and with Caspa too. And that's fine. People are allowed
Yeah.
to feel something is valuable and hold it dear. There's nothing wrong with that.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's just weird when we all get lumped as a group when really we're just people who have one common interest.
Yeah, exactly. Damn, this is interesting stuff.
Yeah, I know. Wow. So you and I said we would do this for about an hour, and it's been an hour. So I think this might be a good point to start to wind it down. Is there anything you'd like to share before we end for the night?
I think that's everything. I think we got everything off our chest after all that.
Definitely. And I would definitely want to do this again with you. There's so much that you and I continue to talk about, and people here have not heard us do our impersonation voices or anything like that. We're always doing our thing.
We'll work up to that. We'll work up to that.
One of these days, they'll see that for fun, we like to put on different voices of people that we run into on a day-to-day basis so that we can blow off some steam, and we'll do some impersonations.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you all for joining us, and I wish everyone here a good night. And hopefully, we'll do this again real soon.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
Bye bye.